Hi traders, this is Forex Nelson and I'm back doing a review of my top 2 best trigger systems. I showed them side by side. On the left side here is my original PIP trigger, and on the right side is the golden trigger. So as you can see, the golden trigger and then the PIP trigger. They have 4 templates on each one. Number 1 always has the meter, and number 2, 3, and 4 changes the time frame of either the AO here and the awesome oscillator over here. It changes and goes to a higher time frame, so you can monitor what's going on at a higher time frame without having to click on a higher time frame. Now that makes your trading much easier. Now over the past year and a half, I've built 13 new trigger systems, and of course I have the original PIP trigger that contains 12 different trigger systems, and that's within the full package. But as I said, I'm doing a review on what I believe is my best 2 trigger systems, PIP trigger and the golden trigger. So let's take a look at it. We'll start with the open this up. Now this PIP trigger is fantastic if the market is trending. In other words, from left to right, it's either going down or it's going up. And then of course all you're waiting for is the indicators down at the bottom to line up. So obviously on this day we want to be selling. So I teach exactly how to do it, the best time to get into the trade, which will enable a very small stop, and it'll give you maximum pips if you follow the rules that I teach in the training videos. And of course obviously if we're selling, then we want to see a lot of red, as red is for selling and blue is for buying. So you got to follow those rules. Now within the blue box here, this is the sessions, and if I go to a little bit higher time frame, you will be able to see, like this here is the, let me go to this point. This area is Asian, this area is in London, and this area is the New York time zone. So I trade Asian, I'm sleeping during the London, and I get up in the morning and trade the New York. Now the New York will go from 6 until 5 p.m. Actually the box ends at 4. I leave a little bit, a 1 hour gap here, as I want to make sure that I close the trade before the 5 p.m. line here. And of course for the Asian, it starts at 5 p.m. and I end the box at 11. This is 11 p.m. as I really like to have things shut down and call it a day. Now it's very easy for traders who are like over in Europe. You can make this box invisible and just extend this box over to either 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning, because the London kicks in at 3 a.m. in the morning, which happens to be right here. I recommend getting in front of the computer at least an hour before so that you can check your charts and the different pairs that you're interested in trading, and then by the time the market opens, then it starts to make a move. Now of course there's we have 2 moving averages, the gold line, and another one here which changes colors from blue to red. Remember, red we're selling. And of course there's 3 awesome oscillators down here. These 2 are multi-time frame, which, as I stated earlier, you can monitor different time frames. As example, if you want to go to a higher time frame, then this one here will change to the 4 hours, this will change. Let me make sure all the data is incorrect. And then of course if you go to the other one, which the number 3 here, this is 1 hour. And of course if you go to this one, number 1 here has the meter, so there's a meter in here, and it's based on the 1 hour and the 30 minutes, and there's your meter. Love the meter as it's this way here you can pinpoint, you know, you're going to buy the one at the top and sell the one at the bottom. So obviously if I was trading now, which is just before lunchtime, I wouldn't be trading, but sell the Aussie yen. But only when you get the signals. So, and of course we have the HA bars here. That stands for Heikin-Ashi bars, and this is the bulls and the bears. Tells you which one is more powerful. So here we'll be selling, and over here we starting to buy. Obviously blue is buying and red is selling again. And of course we have the average daily range, top left corner. On the pound Swiss it's 81 pips, and today went 268 pips. And that is why these two lines right here have turned solid. If it doesn't hit the ADR, then it's a dotted blue. So it already definitely hit the ADR today. Now right just underneath the meter here, we have the spread. So on this one it's around 2 pips, and it has a candle countdown timer. So the next one will close in about 46 seconds. These happen to be on the 5-minute candles at the moment. Now I trade either off the 5 or the 15, and I'm looking at either the 30 minutes or the 1 hour, and that'll give me entries either for buying or selling. Now of course I know that I could be going against the daily, the weekly, the monthly, but since I am a day trader, I don't really care what the daily, weekly, monthly is doing. I'll just follow whether there's news or no news. I just follow what any one of my trigger systems is telling me to do. So as I teach, you know, how to check the higher time frames and how to wait patiently until you get a pullback to get in the trade. And the other indicator I have on here is the auto stop, which I have it preset at a 20 pip stop and a 100 pip take profit. Now of course the default, if you hit reset, it changes from 100 down to 40. Now due to the fact that I trade the news, 40 pips is not very much, especially on high impact news. You can easily get 50 to 100 pips. So that is why I bumped that up to 100, and I saved it as a template. So like I said, this pip trigger works the best when the market is trending either up or down. As you can see, that as soon as I find it, here's an example on a day where it's going up, and now you can see a lot of blue down here. Makes it very, very simple for trading. You know, you're just waiting for certain rules, and then you're in for like about 50 pips. So as long as you can read these indicators properly, which I teach in great detail, and you can easily see that it's a lot of blue down here. So, and there's some other tips and tricks that I teach exactly how to put the trade into a profitable trade with a very high degree of probability. Nothing is written in stone and or guaranteed, as the market is very random. And make sure you, at least the pairs that you're trading, have the meter running, and make sure you have the calendar running at Forex Factory, whereas you don't want to be surprised by high impact news. So now let's take a look at the golden trigger. This one here is great for when the market is going sideways. So the rule, it's quite a simple concept. We're going to be selling at the top of the channel, and we're going to be buying at the bottom. See, this was a bottom right here, and it did go up for 43 pips at the bottom down here. It went up for 96, and from the top down to here it's 85, and it just keeps going and going. This is over 100 pips. But remember, you're only going to take the trade according the ones that are the best with the highest degree of probability to take. Now remember, I also teach how to apply this goal line here in great detail. Show a lot of videos and a lot of trade, dozens and dozens. I repeat it over many times, and by the time you're done going through the videos, which each and every one of my trigger systems will, you should be able to go through all the videos within 1 week, as there's only 36 videos and they're around 20 minutes. So if you spend some time every day going through the videos, within a week you're going to understand the concept of it, and then you'll know when you should be buying, when you should be selling, and when you get the proper setup down at the bottom. And which, by the way, above and beyond having the channel and the goal line, we have a fast moving MACD. We use it as a triggering and or the channel or the goal line, along with the awesome oscillator here, and also with the 2 indicators down here at the bottom. Remember, as a general rule, when it turns blue we're buying, and when it turns red we're selling. So when you line up everything, there's a very high probability that you're going to get pips. Now remember, if you're trying to do a very slow moving pair, like example euro dollar, don't expect 100 or 200 pips, but on these pound pairs, especially over the past 2 days, you've seen hundreds and hundreds of pips. And that was because of the elections in Europe. So just, that's why you got to keep an eye on the calendar, so you know when to be careful, or if you want to trade the news, like I like to trade the news. Now I do teach, as you're getting into the trade, I'll teach an aggressive way and a conservative way, which is a little bit later. Aggressive, conservative. Aggressive, be more conservative. And of course when you're buying it's the same thing. Aggressively, way to get in, and a conservative way to get in. And usually between one and the other, you're looking at between 10 and 20 pips. So if you can get in the trade with a 10 pips sooner, that means your stop will be smaller. So a smaller, let's say smaller stop and larger target, almost 100 pips there. So now you know why I really like the top 2 up here, golden trigger and the pip trigger. And I also made 2 profiles for it, as you can see, pip trigger and golden trigger. And I put my 8 workhorses. These are the 8 workhorses. And for you traders who don't know what they are, it's the Euro Aussie, Euro New Zealand, Pound Aussie, Pound New Zealand. I originally called this my main 4 workhorses, but I noticed that the Pound Swiss and the Pound Yen were 2 fantastic moving pairs also. So I included. So the top 4 and these 2 are great for trading all 3 sessions. Now for the Asian session, I don't recommend the Pound CAD and the Euro CAD, because the CAD market and the Euro and the Pound is not open during the Asian time zone. But the other 2 sessions, these 2 pairs especially, in the New York, let's see the Pound CAD here. Let's see what happened here. Look at today, for example, down on the 5 minutes. Look at how it dropped, you know, waiting for the signals to get in, and you're looking at 100 pips here. Again, the same thing, 100 pips. So trade 1, trade 2, I teach exactly how and when to get in the trade, and usually as a rule I'm not looking for 100 pips because of the number of lots that I do. So you'll learn as you become successful that you don't need 50 or 100 pips, you know, 10 to 30 pips. Everything above that, I would call that as a very, very good bonus, especially once you get to multiple standard lots. And of course I do have in a Word document both the PIP trigger and explaining all the different things you get within the package. They both have 36 training videos. Let me pull up the other one. Here it is here. Very similar, 36 training videos, lots of different ways to trade, and they're both has over at least 3.5 gigabytes of training, and of course you'll get an exact copy of it installed on your MT4 platform. And of course I go over this in most of my videos. You can put it on pause and you can read all of this. So that just about wraps up this video, and of course if you have any questions, just get in contact with me, and either here or look right below the video. All you got to do is call, email me, or Skype me. And keep in mind that if you Skype me, just click on this link. We will have connection through Skype, and through Skype I'll give you a free session that will probably last about 45 minutes. And again, I'll repeat, it's a free session. So, as I said, we're wrapping up this video. If you have any questions, you know what to do. And if not, want to wish you good luck in your trading.